All right, greetings everyone. Today's open meeting proceedings will be live streamed on the municipal YouTube channel for members of the public to view. Members of the public are welcome to attend in person in the council chamber for the duration of the open session. If you are attending the meeting in person and require accommodations, please reach out to the deputy clerk at dclerk@madawaskavalley.ca or 613-756-2747 extension 212 for this request prior to 3 p.m. the day before the scheduled meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order. At this time, I would like to remind committee members and members of the public in attendance that all committee and council meetings are recorded. Please note that these recordings may capture comments made during the meeting or in breaks or recesses. Recordings will be available to the public on the municipal YouTube channel for the members to view. The public may also attend the open session of this meeting in person in the municipal council chamber. Please mute all electronic devices during the meeting. Thank you. We'll stand for the national anthem. Oh yeah, flag is there now, yeah. Right. All right, now I'm going to read the First Nations land acknowledgement. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continuous displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Okay, now the adoption of the agenda. Now there was a few things that we would like to add on to it. I would like to amend 9.1, the minutes which are attached, which you have received this morning, and also 14.7 bylaws for development agreement. So what I'm looking for now is a motion to adopt these agendas. Motion by Councillor Blank, second by Councillor Poplinski. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, that is passed. Now, is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest at this table?
None.
Okay, looks like there's none. So we're now going to go into the camera session. In camera session is going to be, the recommendation is that the meeting enter in camera session at 10:05.
9:05.
Whoop, that's right. Okay, I'm just used to the 10 o'clock meeting. 9:05. To discuss matters pertaining to personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal and local board employees, and litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunal affecting the municipality or local boards and technical, commercial, financial, or labor-related information supplied in the confidence of the municipality or local board, which, if disclosed, could reasonably be accepted to prejudice significantly the competitive position of interference significantly with the contractual or other negotiating of a person, group, or persons or organization under the Ontario Municipal Act 2001, C25, Section 239, brackets 2, brackets B, brackets E, and brackets I. First point, close council and committee meeting minutes of June 3rd, 2025. Number 2, municipal contract obligation, capacity engineering. And number 3, municipal consent. I need a mover to go into closed. Councillor Poplinski, Councillor Blank seconds it. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? We are now in closed. received information and give staff direction.
Thank you.
Okay, and we'll take a 10-minute, maybe 5 minutes, 5-minute
minutes.
recess. Mover, Counselor Popinski, Counselor Micah, all in favor? That is passed. Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break. Madawaska Valley Association for Community Living hosted a softball tournament on Friday, May 30th. Baseball great John McDade and myself were honored to be the game umpires. It was great to see the big smiles on the faces of the players and their fans. Hats off to MVACL and all the volunteers who made this event successful. I want to thank Councillor Blank and Councillor Micah and staff for helping with our annual volunteer appreciation barbecue held at the Lakeshore Park. I'm sorry that I could not be present because of my duties at county. Now, the annual Rockathon held by Valley Manor will be on Friday, June 20th. The Township team, led by staff member Rachel Itmansky, are excited to rock on for a good cause. Sadly, a conflicting county event prevents me from participating in the fun this year. Okay. Now, we have under delegation something very, very special here. And 8.1, we have a Mayor's Award 2024. Madam CEO, if you could say a few words.
Thank you. So the Station Keepers MV are the recipients of the Mayor's Appreciation Award for 2024. The award is given annually to express the Mayor's appreciation for a volunteer organization or group operating in MV. The late Mayor Mark Wilmer selected the group as recipients of the award prior to his death in April. The Station Keepers are a group of volunteers whose mission is to foster community interest, participation, and involvement at all ages in cultural activities that reflect the heritage of Madawaska Valley. The group has a long-standing relationship with the Township, having their home base at the Township-owned railway station on Opiongo Line, and the operators of the local history museum within that facility. The Station Keepers had a big year in 2024. They culminated a multi-year fundraising project to complete the build of a wooden train children's play structure in Water Tower Park, and celebrated the 130th anniversary of the coming of the train to Barry's Bay with Train Day in August of last year. Both were received with enthusiasm by the Township and the greater public, who came out in large numbers to celebrate their achievements last September. In recognition of their strong efforts to foster community involvement in our local history, Mayor Mark Wilmer was pleased to select the Station Keepers of the receipt of this award.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations. If I could have Jan, Mayor Wilmer's partner, to come up here and present the trophy along with myself and with all the members. We'll be presenting it then to President Olson. If we could sort of gather around here, and we're going to get some pictures taken, and we are going to promote this for sure. So if you don't mind, Jan, and all the group, please come up.
So we'll take a picture with the trophy with Janet and the mayor, and after that I'd like a picture with all of council and the Station Keepers as well.
Yeah, so everybody
If you wanted to go around there.
in there.
You're okay there, Jim.
Here? Yep. So we're just standing in front of each other.
Yes.
Good.
That's how I always feel.
The thing is that maybe what we'll do is go in the back.
I think you were going to do the three of you first and then the group. The three first and then the group?
Yeah.
That's what Sue said, right?
Okay, just in the back here.
Scoot back in.
Oh, I see. Everybody's gone. Oh, you just want this? Okay, very good.
And then we'll take the group.
Okay.
I know.
And now if the group,
Yeah,
the
this,
Station Keepers wanted to
we'll stay
join
just
you.
like this, and then everybody can go on the side here, we'll kind of punch it a little bit. Everybody, this is the team. I'll just stand up. Go ahead. Yeah. How does that look?
Yay.
Yay, one more.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
You want the papers too?
No, that's good. Appreciate that. And then
Now
you
I'd like
want,
to
you want
council.
council in?
Yes, please.
Congratulations.
Somehow between
Congratulations. Congratulations. Good team. Congratulations. 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 Congratulations.
Yeah, just maybe two.
Come back to this way.
Yeah, we can, yeah, we can get 2 rows.
Okay, Councilors Cebulski and Kuklinski, please go in as well. Yeah. Somehow, can do 2 rows into
Yeah,
one, too.
we can get 2 rows.
So Ernie, if you come in here, yeah, maybe a couple of, maybe there.
Just a little guy.
Yeah.
It's just the other day, Joe.
All right. There we go. Before everybody goes, I would like to say a few words. So just give me a second to get back here.
Or you can leave it here for
But she doesn't.
So you just have it up here.
So, is this still being recorded?
Yes.
Yes.
And then I was over.
Okay, everybody at the table. Yes, Mayor Wilmer absolutely selected very well in this organization. Thank you to the station keepers, MV. Thank you for bringing Barry's Bay Railway Station to life. Thank you for stepping up and showcasing Barry's Bay Railway history. Thank you for taking ownership of this very important Barry's Bay and Madawaska Valley history. Thank you, President Olson, for taking a leadership role, and to all your executive and volunteers. Well-deserved congratulations on winning the Mighty One. As you'll see, it says the Mighty One. I don't know if anybody knows, but the oak leaf that's on there, that's the original size of the world record according to Guinness World's Record. And Barry's Bay held that. I don't know if it's still intact, but that is the original size of that oak leaf that I think it was Brady Plebin that had, so that's why we call it the Mighty One. And again, congratulations on the Mayor's Appreciation Award. Mayor Wilmer, we miss you, but you have selected very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Job well done.
Job well done, absolutely.
And still ongoing.
Mark, did you want to have a
Yeah.
seat?
More to come. Okay, we've done that. Now, under delegation, we have another special guest here, Mr. Mark Leclerc, and he's going to be presenting something on the Barry's Bay and Area Minor Hockey Association. Mr. Leclerc, it's your table.
Thank you. Good day, everyone. I'm here to represent Barry's Bay Minor Hockey Association and to ask the township to, well, I'll go through this first. And the importance of dressing room for girls hockey players. In many hockey arenas, facilities have historically been designed with male players in mind, as the sport has traditionally been male-dominated. However, as the number of girls participating in hockey continue to rise, these outdated facilities often fail to accommodate their needs. This lack of infrastructure can manifest in various ways, including shared dressing space. When girls encounter inadequate or non-existent dressing facilities, it can discourage them from participating in hockey altogether. This is a significant loss not only for the individual, but also for the sports, which benefit from diverse participation and talent. Without proper infrastructure, hockey organizations miss the opportunity to nurture and expand their female programs. This can limit the growth of the sport and perpetuate the perception that hockey is primarily for boys. Investing in dressing room for girls hockey players has far-reaching benefits beyond the immediate needs of the athletes. It promotes a culture of inclusion and respect. Encourage more girls to participate in sport and help build stronger and more diverse communities. By addressing the issue, hockey can continue to evolve as a sport that welcomes and supports everyone. The need for dressing room for girls hockey players is not merely a matter of convenience, it is a fundamental issue of equity, safety, and respect. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that they have the resource and support they need to succeed. Last season, we had a minor incident. Since there's only one extra dressing room, all girls from both home and visitors teams are sharing it, and after the game, while changing, a fight occurred. Luckily, no one was injured. We are asking the township to let us use the small storage room across from the actual girl dressing room. The township will have no expense other than emptying the room. Barry's Bay and Area Minor Hockey will update it and transform it into a dressing room at their own expense. Painting, building the bench, adding hooks on the walls, and rubberized flooring. We would appreciate getting an early answer to give us time to renovate before the next hockey season starts. Thank you for your time.
Very good. I don't know how we could say no to this. Anyway, we'll have some discussion here. Councillor Blank?
Thank you. Thank you to the chair, and thank you for coming. You're speaking to someone that's been advocating women's sport and hockey and everything for years and all of my life, and being involved with the Barry's Bay Minor Hockey Association. So my background is extensive in this. And yes, there is only the one dressing room. However, I have a few questions. When we had applied recently for a makeover of all our dressing rooms, we were specific in following the rules and regulations that we have an inclusive for wheelchair, for supportive needs of people. And we were looking at using that room specifically for those that need the extra room, and the benches would have to be lower. There would also have to be another bathroom put in there because they could not access the other bathrooms. So our original plan was, part of that was to have the storage room renovated for those with accessibility problems. Okay, so if we have to combine the two, where it's an accessible dressing room as well as another female dressing room, I can see that going ahead, but we do need to put a bathroom there that is available for, and so we have to follow the Accessibility Act, and I'm glad that Andy is here with facilities. The other thing, too, I want to mention while I'm still talking is that our arena has no place for storage, and that room does need a clean out. Some of that stuff can go for sure, but everywhere else is taken up, okay? Now, minor hockey already has an area for their equipment. And I think that this past year, our staff accommodated by putting in some additional benching and stuff like that, so girls could use and women could use that as well as dressing room number 5. So I think we need to look at all the logistics here to see what is the best when minor hockey already has a large room for their storage, plus you can put more room in there for actual seating and benches. right across from the referee's room. That's where it is. I think we need to look at a total picture here. I don't disagree with the fact that we do need that. But we also have to look at the accessibility issue. I'd like to hear more comments regarding that, but I think I'd also like to hear from our facility manager as well, and perhaps our recreation, Hannah.
First, I want to hear from council members if you have anything to add to this here. Yes, Councillor Sabowski.
Accommodation of women, I think, and girls is really important. And it is not appropriate to use a dressing room that men use or boys use. You know, having been in primary care practice for many years, this is a big issue for girls. And as I think the gentleman here mentioned, it turns them off from engaging in a very, very important sport that's up and becoming now.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree. I mean, the sport, women's and girls hockey has increased, since the 2010 Olympics and so on, winning the gold and yeah, so you just see the growth here, and we do have to do something. Now, the one room that's for storage, can that somehow ever be used as a dressing room?
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Is
the one that
dressing
you were mentioning.
Yeah, the one that I mentioned. And I don't know if there's some comments if you want to hear from facility at this point.
Yeah, so let's see, can we talk to or hear from Andy Poplinski?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So yes, again, for the accessibility, which has been identified, that has always been an issue and it has been to the forefront now for several years. So there is room, I do believe. However, we have to ensure that there's going to be a washroom, so facilities for showering as well. It does take up a different and larger area than what it would just for a regular washroom. So again, the design, because it is an assembly building, it has to be done accurately and accordingly. The cost is probably greater due to that reason. And again, it would have to be designed properly. So that is something that can be done. But again, we have to identify it specifically. And I would suggest, because the room is only so big, you can't enlarge it, is to identify on the floor exactly what we need, and we can go from there. Because if you can only seat 5 people or 6 people in the room, that kind of defeats the purpose. So identifying the exact size of the washroom that you do require for the aorta capacity or aorta criteria, that is what I'm going to suggest that we would do. And we have not done that. We've talked about it, but we have actually not gone and measured it because the room is full. We do have a storage concern at the arena, and it's something that, again, it might be part of another project coming forward. And again, I can't say what we're doing, but it might be something that we're going to have to add to it.
Right. One of the concerns too is like even the room that you're asking for is that the showers are kind of joint, right? With room number 4.
Yes.
Right. So there could be a problem there too, right? It all
Well,
depends.
you can lock the doors.
Yeah.
You use one room, use it, they lock the door. So
okay.
that's not the major problem. But again, what you're talking, well, I understand it's a long-term project and it will take years to make it done.
Right.
But until then, right now, we're using the girl and the room and they're mixing and we're having, we had a little fight last year. We want to avoid that. And I mean, what would prevent us from using that room without the bathroom, without the washroom? There is one in the hallway. I mean, they can go before, and that's what they're doing right now anyway. Yeah. So, I mean, the only thing is, if we could use it, we would make it look as good as possible and as useful as possible, and at least they would have some privacy for now. Yeah. And over the years, you will work your budget and your project things, and then might get done. So.
Yeah,
we have to start somewhere in that. Councillor Blank, you want to?
Yes, thank you. Just going back to the minor hockey room that you already have, and that was already used this past season for extra dressing room for female players. Why can't that be used? Why would you want to take the one at the far end when this one does sit 5 or 6 people? already, and it already is minor hockey. My concern is that minor hockey is one of the users of the arena, and I think we have to be cautious of what we extend to these user groups over and above others. And I believe we have to look into it seriously to say, okay, we've already given you this huge room. Can you redo that room?
Yes.
Okay, can you redo that room for another change room as well as your storage? Because the last time I was in there, there wasn't that much storage in there, and it could use a cleanup too.
That's what I was
So,
gonna
you know,
say.
like, I think that we need to pivot it here a bit on this. I'm not wholehearted against dressing room number 6, I guess that would be. But no, that would be number 7.
Number 5.
No, it would be number 7 because they already had used the minor hockey room. So you have 5 that are designated. 6 is the one that has your storage as well as extra seating for hockey players. So number 7 would be the accessible one. So I don't know where we go with that, but I know that the ratepayers and taxpayers would agree, yeah, here, sure, you go ahead and do it and spend your money, but it has to be done properly, and I still think we have to follow the accessibility rules of the, unfortunately, we didn't receive the grant. They're looking into why we didn't, and of course, we're going to be contacting our local MPP, seeing what else we can get. So I think this might be a jump of the gun. I think another year of waiting to see what we can do, and you go ahead and fixing up the room that you already have to suit your needs would be more practical at this time, and give us time to plan properly, because it's going to take a while. Thank you.
Madam CEO.
I had a comment, but I think you had mentioned Hannah as well. I did have a question for Hannah as well.
Okay, Hannah?
So through the chair, I just wanted to know if, there would be a way to bring a report, having consulted with minor hockey, hearing what you're hearing today, knowing what the hope was to make it accessible as well, and to come up with some kind of joint use and what that looks like that would address the storage, accessibility, as well as the future of another room.
Sure, yeah. So I guess my concern would be if I brought a report, it would be in August. And
Yes.
there just would be a very shortened timeline if council did want to proceed with the change room. As far as the storage concern, it's probably the bigger challenge. But, I'd spoke with Mark, and I'd spoken with the president as well of minor hockey kind of previous to this coming to council. And we did discuss kind of working together on the storage issue, as well as potentially sharing their space in the equipment room for the things that we need to keep around that are in the existing kind of storage room now. So that did come up in our conversations. I don't know if that offer's still on the table. So that came up in our conversations as well. So if that's kind of a major concern, that could be addressed through the sharing of that space. And I believe that the understanding would be this would be kind of made into a dressing room that then is our dressing room, the Township's. It's not minor hockey's dressing room, right? So it would be a space that could be shared with any user group that needs it.
Okay, Councillor Poplinski, then Councillor Sabolsky.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I think it looks like you've got the issue with the storage looked after. And if the bathrooms are not an issue, then I don't see any reason why we can still do our planning and work to perhaps enlarge it or to put down the road. But, you've got a season going to be starting in a few months, and I would not want to be one that would be holding this up if that's something that they could utilize. So I'd be in favor of agreeing to that.
Councillor Sabolsky?
What is in this storage?
Honestly, if we went
Not
through
sure.
it, there is probably a lot of stuff that we can part ways with. We'd have to do an inventory with it, obviously involve PJY staff, because they do use it for storage. But I just don't know how much is stuff that we should keep versus what we can say goodbye to, because I think that we would probably find a lot of stuff we could say goodbye to.
Okay, a solution for storage would be either on the north end or the south end of the municipal garage, put a 40-foot shipping container in. That would be a solution. If the storage if you don't have to access, whatever is being stored quickly, then this would be a very quick temporary solution, perhaps, or maybe even a permanent one. I love shipping containers.
Yeah, just go by we have a bylaw,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Councillor Blank.
Thanks. No, I'm not in favor of a shipping container anywhere but on municipal property, but thank you for that suggestion. I'm going to go back again because nobody seems to recognize or hear that I'm saying you already have a big room. That room is larger than a regular dressing room, where you keep all your jerseys, and there's some shelves in the back with stuff that's not being used anymore. And there is things that I think that room would be your best bet to make into another dressing room rather than the one at the far end of the building. I think we need to look into that. I think the direction should be given to Hannah and to Andrew and the staff at the arena and the Minor Hockey Association to say, look, you already have this. How can you turn it into something better? How can you turn it into something more? And I would agree with that. I will not agree at this point with going ahead and rushing ahead and doing that to the other dressing room. I'd rather see it done, if possible, to that first one right beside the referees. That's what I would like to see done. Thank you.
Could I ask Mr. Leclerc, in that room, the minor hockey room, right? I mean, there's a lot of hockey equipment and jerseys and so on, right? How much, could that dressing room be made out of and still have your storage for
Yes,
yeah.
over the years, it's a lot bigger than what we need now.
Okay.
For example, as of this year, Valley Storm, they will have to buy their jersey and they will keep it. So in other words, we won't need the storage.
Oh, okay.
And we're thinking about same thing. Just when you get into that storage room, when you open your door, just on your right, there's shelving there.
Right.
That was for the goalie equipment. Well, we don't need the goalie equipment anymore. They want to buy their own. They don't want to use one. So there'll be plenty of room to almost empty that extra room and put everything there.
Okay. Could you go back then to minor hockey and maybe explain that this is what's coming from this table and all that, if something can be done with that room?
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
And we're willing to work with Anna, and we're willing to, we're not asking without giving.
Right.
Whatever we can help with, we will.
We're in this together.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, Councillor Micah.
Yeah, I'm just listening here. So that was going to be my question too, because I know that room that you're talking, the storage room, the minor hockey storage room, not the township one at the far end. So that was my question as well. Has that been discussed within minor hockey? Like why was that not considered first and automatic, looking at that far dressing room or storage
Because
room
you
now?
have the referee room and then you have that room. So they have to come and go by the referee room. And sometime then it's another opportunity or occasion to start arguing and fighting. So we want to walk away from that.
Okay, because
But that's up to the referees to babysit themselves. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Mary on the referee thing, because the referees, they're referees, they're not, they're supposed to be breaking up fights. But no, I do agree the girls need privacy. I can see where the conflict comes in when you have two sets of girls from different teams sharing a room. I can see where that's definitely an issue, but I think if you can utilize the room that is already designated to minor hockey, and as you're saying, there's going to be a lot less things that minor hockey actually has to store, and that room is bigger, that's a great solution because you're actually getting a bigger room. So, I'm all in favor of whatever conversions minor hockey wants to make, because you're not asking for an investment from the municipality or the taxpayers to do that. So, as far as I'm concerned, have at her. I think that would be a really great solution. And then we, the municipality, the arena still has that far room to utilize for storage. And I agree, Hannah, it does need to be cleaned out because there's some cherished items that are vintage that are in there.
Okay, so good Mr. Leclerc?
If you look at the existing room that we use for storage, it's huge, it's dirty, it's dark. That's part of the reason why we would like the other one. See, that one, if you want to send the girls there, what what do you make them feel like? You know, you walk into a room, a dark room, dirty, so we're second-grade hockey players. That's the reason why we want to have that room and make it look good so they will be treated equal as the board.
Councillor Blank?
Okay, I'll respond to that. Thank you very much. That's why it should be part of your plans to put in extra lights, put in different benches, clean up the floor, clean up the whole thing. So it's not just to run in, throw some benches and that. It's a complete makeover of your minor hockey room without using and taking the far end of the arena, which is now a storage room, which we will clean out, and also turning it into an accessibility one, which we also have to recognize as well. We do have a number of people that actually play sledge hockey and stuff like that and require a room like that. So we have to look at it all. And as far as putting women down, saying you're putting it in a dirty room, I disagree with that. I think it's part of your plan to make it a better place than what it is. Thank you.
Okay, consensus here, I think, at the table is that if you could look into that, Mr. Leclerc, and, approach the minor hockey people and see if that's possible to do. By, cleaning out that room and sort of revamping it so that you can have a dress room and maybe a bit of storage in the backside or whatever. But that would be up to your organization to do this, because it is your room, per se, right?
Well, we're not, I mean, that's also where they plug the hose or whatever, the water to do the ice surface. There's different equipment there. It's the home that minor hockey used. I've been around for many years, but it's also the township room because of some of the equipment that is there.
Oh, I see, okay.
You know, like it's not just our room.
Mr. Poplinski, Andrew?
I just wanted to mention that there is a water meter in there with the main valve, so that would have to be isolated, so nobody would be able to touch it.
Oh, I see.
I have seen that in that room.
Okay, so it's not as simple as it sounds, so, okay. Hannah?
I do also, if council did decide that minor hockey can look at that existing space, I don't think we'd be opening up space for any other user groups, because they still do store lots of stuff, like that's whatever, so their own stuff in there. Whereas if we did look at the far end, that could be a room that could be used by any user group of the facility. Whereas that wouldn't be an option, I don't think, in the storage room, because of there's utility equipment, there's their expensive equipment and stuff like that. So that's a consideration, I think.
I think what's happened here is you've made us aware of a situation, and I think we have to look into this and try to make it work. Absolutely. So, any other questions here for Mr. Leclerc? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good ideas. We can work together.
You put the bee in the bonnet.
Good.
You've done well, sir. Okay, we're going to continue. Let's give me a second here. All right. Now, confirmation of the minutes. Recommendation that the council and committee meeting minutes for June 3rd, 2025 be approved as presented. I need a mover. Councillor Blank, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, so now, is there any business arising from the minutes? Seeing none, we'll continue. Municipal reports. Under municipal reports, 11.1, SWIM 2025 Common Mayor Program Update. Hannah?
Morning. So council will recall in 2024, I was advised that it would be the final year of using the public docks for swim lessons. Since a depth of 2.5 meters is required to complete tasks associated with the higher swim levels, such as treading water, diving, I reported to council on June 3rd that we would be unable to accommodate over level 3 in Combermere. Council instructed me to complete water depth measurements at the public beach in Combermere, which was completed Thursday following the meeting. Thanks to my willing summer students, we found the depths at the regular raft spot in Combermere to be just under 5 feet. In measuring the surrounding area, including far out into the middle of the river, we were unable to find a location that even reached 6 feet. It can be therefore confirmed that Combermere Public Beach is not suitable for higher swim levels that require deeper water. So lessons have taken place at the dock for at least 2 decades. I'm not denying that there is a risk that exists in a place, in swimming in a place where boats frequent, though there's of course an inherent risk that exists with swimming overall, and we do see boat traffic at our public beaches despite the presence of buoys or bobbers. I feel many risks can be mitigated should council permit the use of the docks for swim lessons. I would propose continuing the practice of restricting use of the docks to morning hours, which sees less boat traffic. Installation of signage indicating that swimming lessons take place from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. daily, and clearly marking no swimming is permitted in the area of the boat launch. Installation of buoys that are installed and removed daily to clearly note the area swimmers will be present off the very front of the dock. This is recommended by the Life Saving Society to differentiate swimming and boating areas when boating is present in swimming areas. I'll note that swimming lessons in Combermere take place over 4 weeks this year rather than the usual 6 weeks because of the flip-flopping of the sessions, and older levels can be accommodated in the 3-hour stretch between 8 and 11 in the morning. The purchasing of signage and buoys can be made with an existing budget, and no additional funds are being requested from council. I also included here an email that I received last year when this came up for the first time from our insurance provider, which just discusses the risk management should we choose to have swimming at a public dock. Thank you.
Okay, so there's a recommendation that council allow the use of the public docks in Combermere for swim instruction. I need a mover. Councillor Poplinski, Councillor Blank is seconds it. Now, some discussion. Yes, Councillor Blank.
Thank you very much for doing the review and that, and it was very well done. They are children's lessons. We want children to learn to swim properly. We want to dedicate a special safe area for them to have these lessons, so I agree with some of your recommendations. And because it's only for a 4-week period and it's only in the mornings. However, there's one item under your 3 items you had mentioned, and that first one is continuing the practice of restricting use of the docks to morning hours, which see less boat traffic. Can you explain that one?
So we've always done swim lessons in Combermere is we have the older lessons in the morning. So the swim instructors start at the boat launch. You get like the teens in the water, and then they move over to the beach for the afternoon. So when I'm referring there to, we would only be doing swimming lessons between 8 and 11.
Okay. All right. Thank you. No, I think that's an excellent idea. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Councillor Micah.
So I will commend the girls because I was there that morning and it was cold. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So it's never been really deep there, but I think that there's been some depth changes because of the 2 years of extensive flooding has not helped the matter. And I was the one that was very concerned of having them at the public dock, but I think 8 and 11, there isn't that much boat traffic. There really isn't. But after 11 it starts. By noon it's pretty busy. So I think that will probably work. And then hopefully with time we can maybe find a different location somewhere that could work for the older classes. But I appreciate you looking into it, Hannah, because it's good to know for sure, and they did measure a lot. They were out in the boat and they were measuring every 20 feet in a quite large area. And it is what it is, right? So anyway, thank you for doing that work. And I'm happy to support the recommendation.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, the next one here is 11.2, Water Tower Request for Proposal 2025-8. There is a recommendation. Is anybody, Andy, are you going to speak on this first? I think maybe, go ahead, sir.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I do believe that the RFPs are presented. We did receive 2. The water tower, of course, it's been on our radar for the last several years to repair. We did have the actual review done to identify that there was major issues to be dealt with, including the foundation. We've also had a cultural and heritage report done to accompany this, and again, hopefully through now getting a repair design done, we will get some funding, and that is part of our criteria is to try to meet that timeline. I do believe that there's no funding available now, but it would be for a 2026 season, and we do have it in the budget for the design this year. So that was why this was presented now at this time.
Very good, there's a recommendation here, Madam CEO, could you read it for us, please? Thank you.
That council recommend to staff to approve the staff recommendation to award the submitted request for proposal file MV 2025-8 for the water tower repair design to JP2G Consultants Incorporated in the amount of $6,282.80, HST included, subject to requirements of the request for proposal, and that it be expensed against the budget 2025 Parks and Recreation capital line 01-52841799998.
Okay, thank you. I need a mover. Councillor Sabulski.
Would
I need a
I
seconder
would like
first.
to hear
You-
from the CEO, what was the price?
$6,282.80.
In our minutes, it's $6,538.56.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, I'm just going by the report here.
Oh, one is, I think HST is in, HST is out.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Possibly.
Oh, that's right.
So I'll just say excluding HST on that
Okay.
one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so Councillor Sabulski has motioned it, as seconder, Councillor Micah, and now discussion. Anybody have, Councillor Blank?
Thank you. I was speaking to a lady that was involved in knowing about the caboose that we have put out, and it is to tender and it's gone. And there was money in that account. And I know that the money in that account, there was some discussion, I know from the previous mayor, Mayor Wilmer, that perhaps that money could go towards the water tower because it would be a part of that whole system. So I just wondering if that could be discussed and brought up again so that money can be transferred. And also, I was also, the same person also told me that under the water tower is where they had been storing some of the stuff that used to be in the caboose. I don't know what is there yet, but if this group is going to be coming to pick it up, I think anything that's in there we should check over and put over for them to take as well. So that's another thing I'd like to bring up. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Hannah?
I'll just note that when I did show the caboose, so I am aware that there is parts of the caboose in the bottom of the tower, and when I showed the caboose to the successful party, we actually went and took a look and identified the parts that would go with the caboose. Yeah. So that's-
Councillor Micah?
Yeah, this is for you, Hannah. I'm, now that we're at this stage with the two reports, I'm wondering, because we do have that branded as Ontario's last wooden water tower. I think back when we kind of started talking about this, there was some discussion to maybe have a discussion with the station keepers and any historical facts or anything they may be able to assist with providing, because I think this is very, very, very clearly, I want to proceed with this project, but under the auspice of a grant funding. So I think now is the time we need to be reaching out to Heritage Ontario, Heritage Canada, and opening, getting those contacts, and whittling it into, because there's multiple areas within those two agencies, and driving into who do we talk to? When is funding released? I mean, there's funding every year released. I mean, sometimes there's big special funding released, but I think, and this could be a 2 or 3 year, we know that. This isn't, it's not falling down. After the structural assessment, they said, I mean, it needs to be fixed, but it's in no danger of tipping over at the moment. So, the sooner the better, but I really think we need a thorough investigation and really driving into those areas to try and apply for grant funding.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. Now, getting back to the monies that are in there, this would just be a transfer. I don't know how everybody feels about it. Hannah?
So I will just note that when the caboose committee disbanded, their wishes were that the funds were donated to the station keepers. So they had
to the station
made a
keeper.
request for the remainder of the funds left in their,
Okay,
So,
again, it would be up to council's decision, or would it, or just pay respect to to these people that actually raised this money, right? So
I would have to discuss it with the treasurer just to absolutely confirm, but I think she'll be able to provide whether that's our responsibility or if it's theirs to make those decisions.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Ultimately is our decision, but I mean, there's
Yeah.
the issue of respect.
Exactly.
I
That's
think
what
there's
I'm
under
looking at too.
$2,000 as well. It's
Yeah. Madam CEO?
Just for clarity, so the line item that is identified where will be expensed against, that was budgeted, and I do believe we are under budget. And I wanted to also note that we already had been looking at some funding, because I know there's been a couple times where like, we qualified today, but JP2G didn't have this done. So it is very much on our radar.
one.
We can't get an Ontario grant for that wood, water, power in the entire province.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
I will just note that like Andy and I have discussed this, and I said make sure we include in that report that there's a dollar amount of an estimated cost for repairs, and he said that's in there. So that's the number that I want to be able to write letters to CN, to all these organizations, and request funds. But so it's definitely on my radar. Absolutely.
Should be, sorry, I keep cutting in, I'm sorry. I know, again, we're going back, because this was a year ago, at least, this discussion, but we wanted to make sure that it was restored heritage correctly.
Absolutely.
We weren't going to, I know there was some suggest take this off and do that, but we said, no, if it's original, we want it original.
Yep.
Exactly. Any other discussion on this matter? Seeing none, all in favor, Counselor Cebulski?
Is there anybody at this table has seen that water tower in operation? When the pipe was there and when they would lower it and pour thousands of gallons into the tender behind the steam engine?
Yes, I was there.
I
Did
never,
you see
I
it?
never saw,
Yes, I
no.
have.
Amazing.
Yep.
And do you remember where the pumping station was, the original one?
Yes, it was further back. Wasn't it?
No,
Oh, Martin Siding.
no.
Which one are you talking about?
For the water tower, there was a pumping station. It was between the station and what
Oh,
used to be
yes.
Murray's store.
Yes, yes, it was. Yes, that's right. Where
There's
the
a lot
road
of
is.
history.
Yeah.
Yes, where the road is. Yes, there are pictures. that show
Mayor
that.
Schulis is aware of it, though.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, just for us talking about this is definitely historical. Only the gray hairs will know about this, right? Anyway,
Guilty.
guilty, yes, exactly. Okay, so all discussion is finished. All in favor? That is carried.
Thank you, Hannah.
Okay, the next one here, I guess Hannah's got this one. It's a donation request, CO Recreation Committee. Hannah?
So the Cumber Recreation Committee has submitted a donation request form to support their annual CO Blitz event taking place this year on Sunday, August 3rd. The request is annual and there's no deviation in the ask from previous years, which includes staff support for setup and takedown, use of the float as a stage, additional picnic tables and garbage cans brought to site, and use of snow fence and pylons for creation of the event space. As the event takes place outdoors and outside the existing boundaries of our liquor sales license, the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario requires the council declare the event municipally significant. This event is the main fundraising event for the CO Rec Committee and is well attended every year with activities for all ages throughout the day and into the night.
I have a question on this one here. I mean, I have no problem with this donation, but this happens every year, right?
Correct.
Do we really have to bring it to the table? We should? We should? Okay, that's all I need to know.
Need a motion,
Yeah.
like an
For the
official motion
license.
to submit with the liquor license.
Oh, I,
Moved
s-
by,
okay,
seconded by the municipality.
I see.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So recommendation, Madam CEO, could you read it?
Thank you through the chair, that council approve the submitted donation request form for the township support for the 2025 CO Blitz, and that council declare the CO Blitz taking place on Sunday, August 3rd, 2025, as a municipally significant event.
Motion by Councillor Blank, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. Any more discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried.
Well, thank God, 'cause I booked the band last week.
Yeah. Okay.
You jumped the gun.
Yeah. Okay, so 11.4, found on page 25. There's a planning report, Lakewood Shores subdivision, phase 3, bylaw 2025-56. Now, we have a bylaw coming in later, right? So, but anyway, Andrew, could you fill us in, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I apologize, I don't have it in front of me. If this is the one for the plan of subdivision, that's what we're entering into the agreement with the developer in order to move forward.
So through the chair, just for clarification, we asked Justine just to give some background because to respect to the new members at the table, just so that they knew where it started. So it explains when it started in 2024 and where we're at with that. And as all council members were at the table last council and committee, the draft that you approved is what was added to the amended agenda for approval today.
Okay, very good. So it's just information related. Okay, very good, thank you.
Sorry, through the chair, just wanted to make sure, in case there were any questions about anything that was presented to council last week. I did ask JP2G that they didn't have any questions last week, but if there was any final questions, then Andy would answer before leaving the meeting.
Okay, Councillor Blank.
Just to mention too that the owner of the subdivision was here earlier, and so you could have met him, but I didn't. I think he's left the building. Thank you.
And through the chair, I did want to note that Anthony Homick from JP2G, which is a representative for Mr. Kropf, is also on the call.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
I just
Councillor
want to,
Micah.
thank you. I did read the very extensive and long and detailed report further on in the agenda. I think I saw references to it, but I just wanted to be 100% certain. And I'm pretty sure that we've addressed this issue because of the challenges in phase one with respect to drainage easements from the roadway, that's been addressed in this third phase.
Sure. Through you, Mr. Chair. I am certainly aware of the challenges that
Yes.
that the township faced for phase one. There are no similar challenges for this third phase. There are no drainage easements required. The road doesn't drain through these 7 lots to
Okay.
Bark Lake, so it's effectively it's just existing surface drainage from those lots that will drain into the lake. So there's no issues, to answer your question, no issues with any required easements or any
There's no culverts
situation
in that
like that.
stretch?
There are culverts for the driveways. However,
Driveway culverts.
however, that ditch just follows the rest of Lakewood's Drive down to the, I guess, southwest it would be.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I can sleep tonight now.
And seeing as if I may, I just want to say thanks again to staff for working very hard with us on this, and some of you may know that that Lakewoods goes all the way back to 1988. The original draft plan conditions go back to 1988, and so this represents this is a big milestone. This represents the last approval on any of this subdivision that is active. So phase one was approved a long time ago, but phase two was dormant, and then the file number for phase two goes back a long time. This phase three application was submitted in 2006, I believe. So I just want to say, commend everybody and thank everybody for all of the work to get to this place, because it's been a long road. And I certainly am very proud of where we've got with this last phase. So I'm sure, as you know, Mr. Kropf has a lot of ideas, and we'll probably be coming forward with more in the future. But this represents the last fulfillment of anything that's open, so to speak, right now with the township. So just wanted to make council aware of all that for some of the new faces that are sitting around the table.
All good things take time. So we're
You
here.
bet.
Yeah.
And
No,
through the
I remember
chair-
I remember 1988. Yeah, it's been a long time. Absolutely. Madam,
Through the chair, I just wanted to echo on our side as well. JP2G and Anthony specifically have been very helpful in all of these phases as well. So we thank you for your guidance, including last night noting that it wasn't included on the agenda. So thank you for that, so that we could amend the agenda today to bring this project to closer to completion. Thank you.
Always happy to help.
All right,
Thank you, everyone.
Does anybody else have any question for this gentleman? No, seeing none, then we can continue. Thanks for coming out. Okay, now we're into the standing committee. Well, we don't have to. This is just information. Yep, yep. Okay, now what we've got is the understanding committees, not understanding committees, sorry, consent agenda. Now we have something like 12 items, and I don't know if anybody wants to pull any of these out to discuss and all that. If not, I think Councillor Blank, you had said 13.9.
Yes.
Okay, so 13.9. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none. Then how would the recommendation read, Madam CEO?
Oh, sorry, through the chair, Councillor Micah has his hand up. Her hand
Yes,
up.
Councillor Michael.
Sorry, just 2 items, so I don't know if I want to pull it out, but actually, Dr. Spolsky may know this question. So item 13.3, it's for the Northern Health Travel Grant. It's for Southern Ontario. Are we within the Northern, do we have that?
No,
Okay,
we don't.
so I'm not going to support a county in Southern Ontario. I think we should support one for ourselves. So maybe we want to pull it, but not just pull it today, but to have a resolution developed for Renfrew County and then forwarded to Renfrew County to endorse at the county level. And maybe that's something Dr. Joe or Councillor Cebulski could know something about.
Until we come to that. So you want
Sure.
to pull out then 13.3, any other one?
13, and the only other thing, Sue, I noted 13.13 and 13.14, I believe, are duplicates. I think it's in there twice.
Oh, yeah, I see that. I don't know. Are they the same? You're not pulling them, are you?
No, just for the agenda purposes.
Oh, okay,
One-
okay.
one
Yeah, I think
should
it was
be
just the
amended.
naming of the attachments were different, so that's probably why, but yes.
Okay, so the recommendation is then, could you read that, Madam CEO?
Well, did you want to have discussion on 13.9 or are we pulling it?
Well,
Because
we're, yeah,
13.9
we're,
was-
discussion, yes, Councillor Blank would like to speak on that matter.
Okay,
And then, Councillor Micah on 13.3.
Let's pull, that's first, right? So
Yeah.
let's pull out 13.3. It's just for a quick discussion, not a vote. And then maybe we can get more clarity on that and a future resolution for ourselves.
okay, so if I may through the chair, that the items listed under the correspondence information section, items 13.4 to 13.8, 13.10 to 13.16 be approved by consent and be received by the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley to be filed as information.
Mover, Councillor Blank, Councillor Micah seconds it. Okay, so now we're gonna pull, the first one is gonna be 13.3, Councillor Micah.
Okay, so I'm just pulling it because this was, when I read it, I wasn't sure when they're referencing Northern Health Travel Grant, if we were included within that territory. And if we're not, then this is something that we should be included in, because when I note Essex, sorry, I'm looking. Sal, whatever. They're saying if you have to travel at least 100 kilometers for specialists, well, our people have to travel
Yes.
a hell of a lot more than 100 kilometers
Yep.
to get to Ottawa or
Yep.
Toronto for whether it's CHEO or the Civic or the Heart Institute
That's
or,
right.
so I'm kind of glad they put, I'm not supporting their recommendation, but I think we should develop one for ourselves. And then maybe we could forward that to the county of Renfrew to be endorsed through the county, and
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
But we don't have northern status, right? Or,
And this specific program is for the northern status, so I'm asking what,
well, this
I
is-
can't
so
do resolution
they're-
specific to this
So Toronto, Ottawa, and none of these facilities are within 100 kilometers of Windsor, Essex County. This is Southern Ontario. And Southern Ontario County is
Asking for it.
to also have that benefit of a grant. So basically, using their whereas and the therefores, replacing it with Renfrew County, and that we should also be included in this grant, whether it's called a northern grant or a southeastern grant, but if they're saying that certain people in the province that travel over 100 kilometers to get specialist care. All of our people travel over 100 kilometers to get most specialist care.
I
So
think.
I'm just saying it caught my attention. I didn't know that maybe it's something we need to look at.
Exactly. If they're doing it, why are we not doing it? So, Madam CEO.
So through the chair, I'll use this as a, I'll bring back a report outlining what the Northern Health Travel Grant is, and I will discuss with some members of County of Renfrew, possibly a resolution that could be considered at the table. It may not be specific to this grant, but I can have that discussion.
We could take time.
Yes,
I mean, this is-
so I'm going to propose the September council and committee meeting. Having said that, I also wanted to note that we have in the past supported a resolution, I believe it was from the Township of South Algonquin, because there's always been that discussion about the proximity to South Algonquin and the possibility of it extending to Madawaska Valley. So that in the past has been supported. So that's why on your agendas, we do try to let you know if we've supported such a resolution Okay.
In this, is there anybody else have any discussion? Councillor Sobolski.
This Northern Travel Grant is a thorn in the side of most physicians. And in my opinion, it's not well managed and policed.
Okay.
And I have heard comments like, well, it's a free shopping trip if you send me to a specialist. Okay, there's abuse, and I don't think it's policed enough, in my opinion. And the people who really do require it legitimately have a hard time accessing it. So there's issues with management and oversight.
Okay, which is legitimate.
The thing here is, the question here is, do we want to support this resolution? And if we do support this resolution, will it help us in the future with ours? No. So the thing is to,
Just,
no.
It was just to have a conversation.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Anybody else? Yes, Madam CEO.
No, I was just,
Okay, Councillor Sobolski.
I think the government is already over their heads with this one,
Okay,
and I don't think anybody's going to get an extension.
okay,
Personally, that's my opinion without
okay.
proof. But
So then, based
yeah.
on the fact that that I pulled it, then I think I will trust your opinion in these matters. And I don't want you to do a bunch of work
thank you.
for no reason.
That's right. Yeah.
So thank you for the conversation. I appreciate it, and we shall move on.
Delete.
Done.
Okay, end of discussion then. Okay, the next one here is 13.9. Councillor Blank.
Yes, it's page 41 in the, and it's the Ontario Sport Hosting Program application now open. I'm sure Hannah and Sue and everybody else has had a look at it. They're talking about for 2025-26, which is next year, which is too soon for us, but I think we need to investigate this a bit more to see what goes on. We don't have the facilities to accommodate many things. Thus, when the Winter Games came to the county, we could not host anything other than a thing. And I think that is something that we have to look towards the future for future planning and development, is how do we get involved because of the natural landscape that we have on the water, through the woods and everything else, that we can accommodate any other things. I know this probably does not go under it, but any kind of provincial games coming up would be a benefit to our area. And that's through the Ministry of Sport, I believe. But also, in the past, we had a very vibrant local community that ran a triathlon that was province-wide and Canada-wide type of thing, and it has received a lot of acclaim. So I'm just wondering if there's anybody in the community, now that a few of them have been retired, who used to run it, if they'd be interested in looking again at a triathlon, because it was a very successful one, and we have the natural beauty and natural resources right here to do it. And I don't know if it can come under something like this or not, but I'd like it to be investigated. Thank you.
That'll be direction to staff to look into this. Thank you very much. Anything else? That was the only two, right? Okay, so, I guess, all we have to do is vote now on that motion. All in favor? That is carried. Now we can move on. Just give me a second here to organize. Organize. Okay, that is the, consent form. And we are looking for bylaws. Okay, here we go. 14.1. This is being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a subdivision agreement between the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley and 2748629 Ontario Inc. for Phase 3 of the Lakewoods subdivision. So, I guess we need a motion to accept this. Councillor Blank. And second by Councillor Micah. Any discussion? I know we heard a lot about this here. I guess it's time to pass this. So I don't see any other discussion. All in favor? That is carried.
Mr. Mayor.
Ooh, you do have something to say. Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I have difficulty with numbered companies,
Oh, yeah?
and I would like to see a name there that I could look it up on the internet and see who this person or individual or company is and their track record.
So for the sake of the new counselor, so it's Mr. Roger Kropf, Kropf.
Okay,
Yeah, and he was here. Yeah, yeah.
Roger,
Kropf,
Yeah.
Kropf.
Kropf.
Yep,
Okay,
correct.
thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor? That is carried. Okay, being a bylaw to appoint member of council to act in the place of the head of council when the head of council is absent or refuses to act or in the office is vacant. So that's found on page 177 and 78. And I'm sure everybody's gone through it and so on. I need a motion to accept this. Councillor Blank. We need a seconder. Councillor Micah. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That bylaw has been passed. Okay, being a bylaw for the appointment of committees of council for the remainder of the 2022-2026 council term. So there's a bylaw there found on page 179 to 182. I'm sure everybody has taken a look at it. That gives everybody their committees of what committee they're going to be chairing and so on. I need a motion to accept this bylaw. Councillor Blank, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. Any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay, being a bylaw with respect to the establishment of a health and safety policy manual for the corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley. This one's important, and it's very thick. The one thing is full of information and our guidance, basically, but the thing here is I think it's important that we I shouldn't direct this here, but we should probably pass this. And but anyway, I'm not going to say any more. Madam CEO, can you speak on this? It's pretty.
Did you want to put a mover and a seconder on the?
I will do that. Mover. I'm going to move this. Can I move this?
Yes.
Okay. And Councillor Blank. Okay, now discussion.
So thank you. So very happy to get to this point, and I did want to do a special shout out to Calvin for taking the forms. And what we've done is, you've noticed it says HS1, HS2. These forms will be incorporated in our corporate policies. So if anyone who's familiar with our policies, it starts with ABC. So that if we have to change any of these forms, so as we've said to council, as we start to work within these forms, we expect to be doing some modifications to be specific to us. And then we only have to change the form, not bring back this whole policy for council to review to amend. So thank you, Calvin, for doing that. And I did want to say, our Health and Safety Committee, led by our Deputy Clerk, Brittany Tomasini, with the assistance of Wilkins, have been instrumental in getting us to this point.
Okay, any other, Councilor Blank?
Thank you. For many years, I've been associated with health and safety and their documentation, and I read through this, and it is very similar to that. However, I do have one question, and that is where it lists, and I can't find it, the facilities that are under the, I think there's only 4. What about the other ones?
Which one are?
Well, there's 2 transfer sites.
So if I may, so it goes under like our departments, and then the transfer sites are listed, like they're dealt with individually.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like waste management, public works, and then we have the facilities.
Okay.
And
No,
we'll
this is
review that.
great information, and it's unfortunate that we had, to wait so long to get it, but thank you very much for doing it. I also like the idea of the worker representatives, and actually, I was talking to one of the worker representatives when he was doing his monthly check. So, yeah, so he was quite interested in it and quite aware of it, and hopefully that it will continue. So it was excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Councilor Poplinski?
No, just comments, and I think I've gone through the big binder, and great job has been done, and I think it's one thing to have the regulations, but another thing is to make sure they're all being adhered to, and I'm sure the ongoing interest will be there, and that's what I would expect from everybody, every department head, and everybody aware of it, because we don't want to be in situations where we're constantly fighting people in court. So,
Exactly.
thank you.
Okay, Councilor Sobolski.
Councillor Poplinski, and how will this be policed? How are you going to police checking the tires on your vehicle morning and evening?
I would like to think, Councillor Sobolski, that the people in charge, especially the managers, would take enough interest and pride in their job that they would want to do that. Like,
I would suggest that each every piece of mechanical equipment comes with a very extensive operator's manual.
yes,
And the first part of each manual is all about safety.
yes,
And if the certain gentleman had read what came with that
Yeah.
piece of mechanical equipment, we sort of wouldn't be in the trouble
Yeah.
we're in.
yeah,
And I can show you dozens of these.
yeah.
And I'm sure Mr. Poplinski would verify that. Every little item, including the small, even your electric chainsaws now and your electric whippersnippers
In an SOP.
come with safety.
Yes.
Yeah, and in this case, there's going to be 2 documents they'd have to read here, right?
Right.
It is the responsibility, though, I think, of.
Well, there's
of-
also, there isn't one place in that whole document that common sense is mentioned. Common sense. I was looking for those 2 words.
I haven't heard that since the 1950s.
Well, yes, I agree with
at the manor.
what Mayor Schulis.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, well said, yeah. So anyway, any other discussion here? No, nobody else? Let's pass this
Solve
thing.
this question. On this pass.
All in favor?
Thank you.
It is passed, okay.
Just a comment,
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
Mayor.
you're allowed.
Who is responsible to make sure that the individual reads the operator's manual and it's signed off?
Yeah. So through the chair, so every manual is going to be delivered. They have them now. We're going to have training on, they have to sign off at the front of the binder that they are aware where it is, that they have read through it. The managers are responsible to ensure that they use the forms within it and that they correspond and with payroll as well as myself if there's anything within those forms that they have to submit.
And
Yeah.
a question should be asked by the employee if they don't understand some parts
Absolutely.
of the operator's manual,
Yep.
and especially about safety. And that's always in the first section of these manuals.
Yeah, and that's correct.
And
Yeah.
you're probably aware that, I'm sure Martin has one for each of his.
He only has the common sense part.
There you go.
That's the one he prefers.
Mr.
But thank you.
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Poplinski?
Oh, yes, Mr. Poplinski.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. Councillor Sobalski, you've identified something. It is actually up to the managers to ensure that their employees that are underneath them under their supervision are supposed to ensure that they're signed off. Part of the training and the hazards are supposed to be identified, part of the workplace safety. That is something that, being in an industrial trade for many years as an electrician and plumber and heating and doing pole line construction, septic systems, it's something that when I first started, there was no such thing as safety on site. Things have changed dramatically, and the reason why is because a lot of people got injured. So common sense, it should prevail. However, that's why legislation has been created, because common sense hasn't prevailed, and it's trying to make everybody accountable. So that's what this is about, and about documentation. So when I was the fire chief, I came in here in 2005. I created all our SOPs here for the fire department. We do follow them. They're still established today in both halls under one guidebook. However, and there's been many changes, and even with the public works staff, every employment and every area with the municipality is a different part of the health and safety. So what pertains to public works does not always pertain to the office, but everybody is still subject to the same rules to a certain degree. So I just want to add that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Well done.
Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Discussing here, I just thought of something. It's Wilkins
Wilkins
is
Safety.
the safety
Yes.
professionals we hired. Is she going to come to each, like, now that this is complete and we're finally where we need to be with that, are we going to schedule actual specific training days? And like Andy said, the fire department is different than roads, than office, than parks, than the arena, et cetera, et cetera. Would that be, something wise that we should, like, literally specifically carving out a time frame? Because things are busy, and what I don't want to see is everything looks nice over there and you just sign off, oh yeah, it's good, but because they're busy, I think if we,
Yes, Madam Secretary.
So if I may, so through the worker members that we have identified to council that are responsible, so what was happening is they were the conduit to each department. So we can have further conversations. We did not retain Ms. Wilkins for the next step. If you recall, when we entered into an agreement, it was under the WSIB Excellence Program. So we did receive a rebate. There is a similar program that we can look at, again, for a next phase to review our SOPs and to do all of that. That was not something that we had budgeted for this year, needing to get this to the end of that. So I am in communication with Ms. Wilkins, and she does assist us with some of the correspondence that we're dealing with right
it'd
now.
be, I think, good to look
Yeah.
at it, because we really did get a rebate. It was,
Yes?
I don't want to say was it full cost recovery?
No, it
But I
wasn't
mean,
full
but
cost,
still,
but it was
we-
over, yeah, it was a little under half, I think.
It might be
Yeah.
well worth our time to look at a phase two. Just
She
to-
is actually sending us a quote for that.
Oh,
I
good.
did identify that we didn't budget for it in 2025,
Yeah.
but wanted to know what that next step was.
That's great.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Looking forward.
Good conversation. All right, we did vote on this, right?
Yes, you did.
Yes, we did. Okay, here we go. Being a bylaw to establish a memorandum of understanding between the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley and the Station Keepers Madawaska Valley, and to renew the terms of reference for the Station Keepers of Madawaska Valley with the respect to the facility use of the Barry's Bay Railway Station. I'm going to make a motion, and I need a seconder. Councillor Blank. Any discussion on there? We just, our previous mayor, former mayor, I should say, did select the station keeper as a appreciation award. There's appreciation award, so I think I will be glad to definitely support this here. I don't know if any discussion at the table? Yes, Councillor Popinski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's wonderful how well they've proceeded with this, and I'm pleased to say that I was part of the group that got the train back on the track. And because, and these folks that have taken over and moved it forward, I just nothing but praise. I've worked with them at other events and musical events and various things. They're very dedicated, and I think it's a jewel in our township, and it's just so nice to see them. And I look across the table, I look at Councillor Mike, and she knows what I'm referring to when I say that the trials and tribulations and the pains of amalgamation and so on. But anyway, it's absolutely wonderful to see where it's going now. I'd like to get on the train and go for a trip.
Hey, there you go. So, yeah, no, it's great to see the public going and taking ownership of this here. And I always believe in something that's driven by the public and supported by the municipality. And I think we have a good relationship here. So, anybody else, Councillor Blank?
Yes, it's great to have them on board and support them in everything they can do. And as part of the my recreation and economic development and heritage and stuff, I appreciate what they do. However, there's just one little bump on the railroad track, and I know that they had wanted to put a few events on during the winter months, which was poo-pooed because they would have to put the heat on. So I'm just wondering if that is true and if that is part of it, or, the winter can be very lonely and very, unproductive in many ways.
Yeah.
But if this group wishes to put on an event within the station, can we not put the heat on for them?
Yeah. The thing about it is the heat turned off, or is it always on? Because all it is just to crank it up, right?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's what I was going to comment on. The heat is always on. It's just that they turn it down due to the fact that there's a foundation below frost.
Yep.
I would not want to not keep the heat on there, because if we didn't, we'd also have to drain the water
No,
system, and
they-
that would freeze.
Yeah.
So no, the heat is always on. Just
The
they
heat is
have to
always
turn it
on,
off.
it's just that they were told, no, we're not putting the heat on.
Yeah, I can't comment on that.
Okay, so the thing is, where did this snow come from? I think what they have to do is if they have an event, tell them to bring it to the table, and then we can take it from there.
Well, I
But
don't know about that because it's their events that they have,
Yeah.
and they did come to me with it.
Oh, okay.
They did come to me with it, saying that how come we can't have something on in the wintertime? They wanted to do a thing that they had all set up and planned, and they were told no because we're not turning the heat up.
Let's keep that open. Like right now, let's keep that open. I saying no to an event that could help our community, I have no problem with that. Anyway, any other discussion on this?
I would, if I may, I would like to see that any other groups as well. It'll be limited. However, obviously there is someone that is very interested in using it, and if it's not going to, like Andy says, the heat could be turned up, and I think we should try and accommodate that because the more people we get
Absolutely.
involved in our community, the better.
Yep, I totally agree with that. Councilor Micah.
So I think one of the issues was there wasn't going to be open all year round. I'm like a full season due to insulation issues. There wasn't adequate insulation in the roof and et cetera, at one point. I think if it's a one-off event where you go in and it's just 3 or 4, 3 days or a weekend or something. But the issue was that it isn't open all winter long with heat on because of insulation purposes. But I do note in here, in the terms of reference, it says temperature in the facility will be maintained at 10 degrees Celsius over the off-season, October through April. Unless otherwise agreed upon between township staff and the station keepers for using the facility for a public event. So again, if the station keepers are planning on doing one event or 2 events over the course of October through April, I don't think that's an issue. I think the initial issue was that the heat is turned on to 70 degrees and it's on right through the whole winter, and you've
Okay.
got icicles to the ground, and I think that was the original issue. So if it's one or two events here or there, I don't have a problem, because I mean, yeah.
Well, I think
Councillor
we
Blank. Oh,
Thank you.
sorry.
right back to this committee
Just
that
give me a second.
Joe's gonna propose, the Common Sense Committee. Right, Joe? We're gonna get that going and they'll be in charge of it. Right?
I'll move that.
There you go.
Yeah. Councillor Blank.
Thank you. I think that was an amended section, was it not?
I can't speak to what was
Because-
amended. I
yeah.
apologize. I would have brought these questions
Yeah.
to Hannah ahead of time.
Okay, so it was one event that they wanted to have, and they were told, no, we're not turning up the heat. And so that's why I'm saying that I think this may be
Amended to reflect the change.
the change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay?
And I
'Cause
do
we
note,
I mean, the Tree of Lights,
Yes.
it's open for Tree of Lights, and that's in December.
Yeah. and I do note through the chair that it does include in here that, there is encouragement to use other municipal facilities for, when
If
it's
avail-
too
if
cold,
available.
if available,
If
to do it
available,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Okay, sounds
Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Good discussion. All in favor? That is carried.
Thank you.
We have one more bylaw. Give me a second here. Bylaw. Oh, yeah. Being a bylaw to authorize the entering into and executing of a contribution agreement between His Majesty the King in the Right of Ontario as represented by the Ministry of Transportation and the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley for a transfer payment agreement for the Connecting Lake Program Intake 10-2025-26. Can somebody speak on this here? Yes, Councillor
Yeah,
Micah.
this is, oh gosh, I don't know, 2 years in the making, I think, maybe. This is the connecting link is the section of Highway 60 that runs through town, through the village portion. And then Highway 62, this is regarding the three-way stop in Barry's Bay. So Cumbermere Road / Highway 62 is county. So there's a partnership, that there was a design plan in conjunction with the county, and the county, I don't even know, was it 2 budgets ago, I think? They agreed to put a certain amount of money towards, there's going to be a somewhat redesign of the three-way stop. What we're trying to do is create more turning radius for the large trucks. So there's a design plan downstairs. The county has input into that as well. So it's basically between us, the county, and the province. And so this is wonderful news. We've gotten the money, and I think tenders. I don't know if the tender is out. I don't know if we've gotten it back at this point, which will be coming soon. And then hopefully construction would start this fall. Wouldn't be starting in the summer, it'd probably be late September, October, because of traffic. But hopefully it's not gonna be, I mean, there's only so much room you can work with there, but with widening out, hopefully it will help with the turning radius with some of these large trucks. So that's the goal and the intent, so this is good news.
So, Councillor Micah, thank you for the background. We could put a motion on the table. Yeah, but before that, Madam CEO?
Just for the new council members, County of Renfrew in their 2025 budget also set aside $175,000 towards the connecting link, because it's not all connecting link, and the county road
Right.
starts at the intersection, so they supported that project.
Yeah, my question was, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
and follow up to Councillor Micah's there. Is it totally funded by the connecting link, or we're contributing 20%, or?
No, I don't know what the final
Okay.
numbers were. I do know that we got approved for
If so, we've got it in-
175,
if so, we've
and
got
there's
it in our
100.
budget.
Yes.
Sorry,
Really
and then
good.
there's 175, that was up to 175 for the county.
Okay,
But
thank
we
you.
don't have the tenders back yet, so.
We don't know.
I mean,
Right.
we'll see, but it was accounted for in the
Yeah,
budget.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councillor Jaworski.
Was that, you were asking if the municipality of Madawaska Valley
Yes.
was contributing anything
Yes.
to this?
Yes, and like I said, we did get the funding,
Yeah,
but
I
we
know.
don't have the final numbers
Okay.
to be able to know what that difference will be.
Well, it seems almost like a colossal waste of money to me. Because all I really need is a can of white paint and a paintbrush. No, I'm not joking. On the bar line, the B line, rather, going into Pembroke, and the intersection of Forest Lee Road, they solved that problem with a can of white paint and a paintbrush. And the issue with that intersection is not the truckers. It's the drivers, the other drivers, who totally ignore that sometimes. They see a transport truck approaching and they drive right up to the white line or past it. And the trucker he can't do anything. And it doesn't matter how far they widen it, you know, unless they're going to remove part of what used to be Akabuski's store, the trucker is still not going to be able to make that turn. And I would like to see the drawings on the proposal on that before we dump tons of money into it. We could fix an awful lot of roads for that money.
This is provincial grant.
This is provincial
but this
grant
is
that has been.
not
But
our
we
money.
don't I don't care where the money comes from. It still comes from the taxpayer. It comes from us. And who are we serving by this?
Okay,
Is there
let
an
us see you.
alternative?
If I may, through the chair, this specific grant is only for connecting links. We can't use it on any other roads. It has to be projects that we can use that is specific to the connecting link.
That's fine. But why not get a cheaper solution? Like some common sense in the drivers?
But you never cleared it. But I think that when you receive grants, you don't refuse.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
understand
willing
where
to
you
turn
come
away.
from.
This has been a 2-year ongoing
Yeah.
three-way partnership between
Yeah.
us, the county, and the province.
I am new on council, so
Yeah,
I
I'm-
have these questions.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
a good question.
Like I drive that intersection at least once a day, if not more, and a lot of drivers, and I'm not just saying the odd one, are abysmal drivers.
They're terrible
They
drivers.
have no idea. I'm approaching from Highway 62 to Highway 60, and it's my turn, and all of a sudden somebody barges through ahead of me. That just happened, I guess, on Friday when I went grocery shopping. And this is not an unusual. And if you stop to let the drivers of large rigs make that turn, invariably every one of them will wave at you. They appreciate that.
Absolutely. I've thrown her in reverse quite a few times.
And he's knocking his head up.
Okay,
and
so,
that's it.
anyway.
That's all I have to say.
well, thank you, sir. Okay, no more discussion. All in favor? Okay. I lost that. Woo. Hold it. We did not have a mover and a seconder, so I would say then, would Councillor Sabowski want to move that? Who's gonna move this? Councillor Micah will move this, and Councillor Blank will second it. All in favor? Okay, that is carried. Very good. There is under 14.7, there was, put on our table here. Madam CEO, do you want to speak on this one? This is,
Yes, if I may, thank you. So this is the execution of a development agreement that came to the council and committee on June 3rd. All of the questions were asked, drawings were provided, as well as the draft bylaw that is before you. And it is an execution of a development agreement between Calvin and Caitlin Hutter and the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley.
Okay, and how will the recommendation read?
being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a development agreement between Calvin and Caitlin Hutter and the Corporation of the Township of Madawaska Valley.
I'll make a motion on that. Anybody second it? Councillor Blank? Any discussion on this bylaw?
I think Andy wanted
Yes.
to.
I just want to add, through you, Mr. Chair, that this is a condition due to the severance. So this isn't something that's out of the ordinary. Because of the severance, they were splitting the properties. There was a site plan agreement that for the garage, the repair garage they had on property, and that's why they were splitting it up. And part of the conditions of the severance was to do the actual development agreement. That is standard practice now lately with the county anytime they're doing a severance. So you will see the development agreements being proposed at numerous times.
Okay, very good, Mr. Poplinski. Any other discussion on this bylaw?
None.
Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Okay. Confirming bylaw?
No.
I don't think there's
15.
it. What's that?
15?
Oh, any new business? Sorry. Do you want any new business?
Unfinished.
Any other new business on this table? None. Seeing none? Okay.
Actually, I have new business,
Oh,
if I
we
may,
have-
through the chair.
CEO.
The operations manager received yesterday a request for us to bring an agreement to bylaw, and it has to do with our hazard household waste day, and it's with the automotive material stewardship. So before it was product care. So they'd just like us to sign an agreement. I explained to them that it would not come back until the regular council meeting in August. They just asked if I could sign in principle the agreement. It's similar to product care. So I'm just wanting a council resolution to say that I have permission to sign the agreement, which is it's the same as what we had with product care, except for the automotive portions, and we would bring the bylaw to council for them to sign at that time. And it would not be binding until which time all parties have signed, but it would be coming back at the August regular council meeting.
Time to be able to, when
Yes, and that's why if I sign the agreement, then we can proceed in July.
Do you need a motion to that?
I do, so if I may through the chair. That council approve the CO clerk to sign the agreement with automotive materials stewardship and bring back the executed bylaw to be executed at the regular council meeting in August.
Okay, Councillor Sabowski has moved it, seconded. Councillor Micah, any discussion?
No.
Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried.
Just in time.
Will times be placed in the local
It's,
Yes.
paper?
it's been
Yes, and we
posted.
have newsletters going out as well.
It's been
Yes.
posted on the Facebook page too?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been around there, yeah. Any unfinished business? Councillor Blank.
Thank you. I just want to advise council that I've asked the CAO to bring update on information regarding Madawaska Valley's position on Airbnbs. I've been receiving many more complaints about them, and do we license them? Do we tax them differently? How do we control them? Because it is getting out of hand. Those that own the Airbnbs don't have a set program of advising their users that there's only so many people that can be there and you have to be quiet after a certain hour. Also, I think recently we just had a fire call at one because somebody got fined because they had a bonfire which they were not allowed to have. All of these kind of things, but especially noise and stuff like that. There are more and more of them in the community, and I'm hearing more and more complaints. Now, I think when we discussed this the last time, we had estimated approximately 152, and I'm sure that's doubled by now. And my fear is the future and development of our own communities, our own growth, when we have too many people that don't pay the actual tax price that they should be paying. If you were a business, no matter how big or small, you have to pay the business taxes. These houses don't pay anything other than whatever. And I really think it's time. Most of the province has turned that way, and I really want to push this because I think it's getting a little bit out of hand. So that's what I'm asking the CAO to do, is to bring this back up to the table with a report. And God bless you. Thank you.
If
I'll take
that's
that
a motion, I will second it. because-
Yeah, it's a direction, but thank you.
And when you say 152,
That was a couple of years ago.
there's how many that are not advertising?
Oh, exactly.
Exactly, and I mean, what we found out in all the complaints, and
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I have a file like that on it.
I know, yeah.
So, let's
Did,
get on it.
Yeah, exactly. And Councilor Mike, remember we were at a conference and a lot of that other municipalities have this kind of problem. So
Yeah.
Prince Edward, yeah, exactly. So go ahead,
It's all
Councilor
on,
Mike.
a lot of it is on the internet, so you can see the issues. And some places have, the owner has to be there,
Yes.
and that there's less issues. But whatever we come up with, we need to do it, and we need to do it soon. But that's going to help also with the rentals and regarding the homelessness, you know?
For sure. So
is-
I just wanted to kind of review what we've done up to this point. When this term began, and yes, David, we were at a Roma conference. That was the first one after this term. And there was a session on Airbnbs. And in all the conferences I've been to, and I'm not even being dramatic because it was shocking. Most of them sessions are in a room this size. That one was in a ballroom, and it was
Overflowing.
because maybe not every, but I think probably now every municipality, particularly the rural ones, it's become a massive problem. And there were, I'm gonna name these. I know Prince Edward County was one of the speakers. I believe it may have been the Township of Tiny. Was it Tiny? They were both guest speakers. They had two different approaches that they were taking to let monitor, control it, police it, whatever. They were two very different things. I think there's probably a lot more since then that we could be looking at, because it's not that straight cut. Both of them, I believe, were legally challenged by some of the owners, and they were successful in their legal challenges. But I think there's probably a lot more examples now. We did have a firm that came in, I believe, 2 years ago, and did a very basic mapping, just on just through technology. That's where this number Mary's talking about, the 152, but we know there's more. And you can see exactly where they are. I mean, they're not in downtown Barry's Bay. They're on all the lakes and rivers. There's a few, there probably is a few more now. But I'm absolutely in agreement. We need to do something about this. I've also received many calls from cottage owners that are, it's impacting. Some of these are multi-generational cottages, and they had their own communities, waterfront communities, and that's being impacted. It's changing the dynamics, and it's not for the best. And I think, Sue, as well, last summer when you attended AMO, you presented a report to, was it Ministry
The Ministry of Finance, yes.
Suggesting to the provincial government. Now that wheel turns extremely slow, but I think you said they were open. It was a very out-of-the-box suggestion that the province needs to create a new tax code that
Specific to
reflects
Airbnbs.
specific to Airbnbs, that would be, somewhere above below maybe commercial, but above residential. But yes, and I think one of the solutions, and I believe the former mayor may have said this, there was a township that allowed them, but only if the owner was on site, which could be a solution as well. That's a much more simpler, because whatever we do, we'll have to police.
We
So
just need
if
more
we're gonna
discussion
hire
on that,
4
yeah,
more
so.
bylaw officers.
I just, if I could just mention for a minute, I had a situation where I got called to a place. There were 17 people in this cottage. They had all arrived from Toronto. There was 8 vehicles. Within 15 minutes, they had drained the water, and the toilet was overflowing. And this is on a weekend. How do you get a plumber? How do you get? So they're calling everybody on the street, and I went down. Well, your Uncle Art come down to help, and we got them. But this is unbelievable. 17 people, and they have no concept, and they don't care. So if it's overflowing, we're going to have a problem with pollution. And I don't think we want to be looking at lawsuits over that, so.
So, Madam CEO, how are we gonna handle this?
Okay, so I'm going back. Thank you for your input on this because I think it is a very serious thing for our municipality. So my thing is then to advise the CAO to update our reports and for the new council members, plus to work on all the things that have been discussed. Thank you for your assistance on that.
Madam CEO.
For the new councillors at the table, we did implement a finding structure. So whereas if bylaw is called out to an Airbnb for an infraction, the owner is notified that there has been an infraction and is advised that if there's any further infractions of any of our bylaws, the owner and the tenant get fined. And if there is a third infraction after each infraction, the fine doubles for the owner and the tenant. There has been letters that have already been sent this year, and Corwin had sent some last year, and it has proven to be very effective. We also, as staff, have prioritized to ensure that our zoning bylaw review speaks to Airbnbs as well, because we are addressing tiny homes, and we'll be addressing the difference between bed and breakfast and Airbnb and properly define those. So I'll and if I may, I will reach out to ensure that this report, I'm not sure what the cost is, but I will reach out to Granicus. Granicus was the firm that, following a workshop, allowed us to be a pilot program, and there was no cost at that time. There may be a cost this time, but I would like to see that comparator from the first time we did it 2 years ago to today, and I think that will guide council into which way we need to go.
Look what you have started, Councillor Blank.
Oh, shame on me.
Go ahead. No, I know.
Yeah, but it's just
Good
to bring it
discussion.
back
Go
again.
ahead.
And thank you for your support on that. Just one more question too. Rooming houses, we have a number of them now too. So what's happening with that?
So through the chair, so that is legislated through, like, they're named through MPAC. And we have been dealing with MPAC. And again, as we do our zoning bylaw review, the definition needs to be clear as to what is a rooming house, what is, the other types of structures.
Definition of,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, healthy discussion. We will, you'll bring something then to us later on. What committee will that
I
go
will
under?
bring it to August Council and Committee.
Committee, and what,
Yes.
under
It'll be
what
under
committee?
finance.
Under finance, okay. All right, we'll move on here. It looks like we're at the end here, a confirming bylaw. Recommendation that the bylaw 2025-61 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council of the Corporation of Township Madawaska Valley at the regular council meeting on June 17, 2025 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 17th day of June 2025. I need a mover. Councillor Micah, seconded by Councillor Blank. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Adjournment. Recommendation that the regular council meeting adjourn at 12:04. I need a mover. Councillor Poplinski. Councillor Sabolsky seconds it. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much, everyone. We govern.